Thank you for coming back for day two, SōRSE Summit 2020. Our topic for today is a better technology, and I kind of feel like this is a music festival. We have a really great lineup for you today. Some of our top R&D operations science team members. This is where the science really get involved in the product development. Obviously, you guys have already worked with our team on a number of products already, but we're going to, evolve and teach you more about what we think is coming down the pike, so we can continue working with you in developing great products. With that, I will welcome our first speaker, who is doing our welcome note, Scott Riefler, our Chief Science Officer. He has impacted all of our lives today, including your products. I prefer to call him the father of SōRSE. He is the reason that we're all working in this industry today, and he has made infused goods taste better, feel higher quality, and those are your goods. So we owe a lot to Scott here. As part of the SōRSE leadership team, he's been able to marry two passions, science and cannabis. But life as a scientist isn't all success and glory. And even though Scott has had plenty of that, it draws many parallels to the roller coasters that entrepreneurs go through when working in the CBD and cannabis space. I said yesterday, we're all startups in a startup industry, but Scott has some motivation to keep us all going here. So Scott, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Diana, and thanks for putting the heavy load squarely on my shoulders. I really appreciate that.
No problem, anytime, Scott.
I got things moving. We are clearly a team, and everybody contributes. So yeah, I was around at the beginning, but it's really the hard work of everyone around me, to be perfectly frank. So good morning, and welcome to day two of our first annual SōRSE Summit. As Diana said, I'm Scott Riefler, and I lead the science team as Chief Science Officer here at SōRSE. Thank you for joining us, and it's really a pleasure to be here. Today we'll be focusing on science and the science behind what we do. Today's topics include emulsion customization that Michael will be speaking on, Donna will be speaking on trends and flavor, Zach will be speaking on production and seamless integration. Will be followed by Michelle, who will speak to us about go-to-market effectively and efficiently. And then Mary Beth will be talking about our medical mission. And then we'll close with Mary, who's one of our board members, and talk about the formation of the Hemp Cannabinoid Science Institute that we're forming to specifically address the needs of global regulatory bodies. While I'm talking, I'm going to scroll through a few slides for your enjoyment, so you don't have to just stare at my face the whole time. As we get started, I did want to speak to the difficulties associated with this pandemic. And, make no mistake about it, this is tragic, what's happening right now. But it's part of life. We'll learn to deal with it and move on. But just for reference, during a pretty significant pandemic, a gentleman I think you've all probably have heard his name, Sir Isaac Newton. He got a few things done. Foundation for classical physics, theories in light and optics, sort of advanced telescope technology significantly. And he did this little thing, wrote his first draft on the laws of gravity. So it just shows you if you keep your focus, you can actually get a few things done while the world is in chaos around you. So back to science. Currently, our R&D team now stands at about 13. And I say about not because I don't know how many people work here, but because the lines between science and the rest of our team are a little blurry because we have science really embedded in our core, in our DNA. So within the science team, we have R&D, which is essentially emulsion science, product development, which is heavily based on application support, and we have analytical services. And as I said, the science thread really does run strong through our operational team as well, QA, QC, process engineering, manufacturing, raw materials, regulatory, etc. We tend to draw upon experience from a number of fields of applied science, including food and drug, flavors and flavoring, process engineering, and general material science. Personally, I've spent 20 years in the aerospace industry, formulating advanced materials such as structural composites and structural adhesives. This is the stuff that the wings and the body tubes are made out of, and the materials that hold those planes we used to fly in or are starting to fly in again. So I don't know if that'll give you solace or fear, but next time you're on a plane, recognize that the glue holding it together is something that I had to hand it. This was followed by 20 years in the food space with a hydrocolloid ingredient company. So in a sense, I've spent part of my life bringing rocket science into the kitchen, now into the field of cannabis. We have a great day planned. So again, let's get grounded, and again, grounded in science, which we can take to be the study of structure and behavior of the physical world captured through observation and experimentation. It can be said that while we seek to explain and understand the unexplainable, science is a never-ending series of failures. For every eureka, there are tens, if not hundreds, of oh shits. So it's messy. As scientists, we spend most of our time in darkness. Once in a while, we get to see a glimmer of the light. Sounds a little bit like startup land, doesn't it? Mr. Einstein has said, if we knew what we were doing, it would not be called research. So that's the world that the science team lives in. Scientific evolution is often steeped in paradigm shifts and often violent step change. For example, a given theory or law of science explains all available observations. Yet over time, anomalies, that is, observations which do not fit the theory, develop. And at first they're swept aside or ignored, but then as they collect, they drive new theories which once again explain all known observations. In a sense, we throw out the old and replace it with a new theory. And we do this knowing full well it is also likely to be abandoned as more data is collected. Just think of when we thought the Earth was flat, or then when the Earth was the center of the universe, and think of the reception Galileo received when he suggested otherwise. He was imprisoned. He was put in jail by the Catholic Church, held prisoner at the Vatican to work on his science and not being able to share it with anybody. Our technology platform tends to follow this path. Jenny and Diana asked me to share the genesis of our water-soluble platform. Well, here it is. Several years ago, while at a Taj Mahal concert in Seattle, we were sitting drinking some wine, and I asked a friend of a friend what they were up to. He had just captured one of the Washington State 502 legal cannabis licenses, and they planned on doing edibles. I asked if they were considering doing beverages, and he proceeded to tell me, really lecture me, on all the reasons why cannabis oils and beverages were impossible. Homogeneity, unpredictable liftoff, taste, flavor, and stability. Well, I like challenges, and nothing's impossible. And I thought, geez, if I can make a plane radar invisible, transforming oils into water-compatible forms should be achievable. So after a year or so of experimentation and many oh shits and a lot of frustration, but building on the advancements in a number of disciplines, bringing those together, and as I said, after many failures, we had our eureka moment and SōRSE was born. Of course, platforms are always burning. The glamour of new always tarnishes, and today's heroes often become tomorrow's has-beens. It's always about the future and the unmet challenges. I can say that the drive to improve and evolve has been bred deep into our bones here at SōRSE. You will see this within our platform evolution. We started with liquid emulsion, then we generated a powder form, then we moved on to clean label and all natural, constructed profiles. And I hope Diana doesn't yell at me, but soon you will be hearing about organic and clear. This is just the beginning. Of course, we do not live in a vacuum. Along the way, our technology must be validated by consumers. And this is evidenced by the top ranking of our beverages in Washington State, where at last glance we hold the #1 slot in the top 4 of 5. And I know many of you are experiencing the same thing in your markets with your beverages. The path ahead includes numerous functional oils and adaptogens, product form enhancements, customized profile constructs, really to just name a few. Many of you have had the chance to work directly with our science team, and we hope that is a growing proportion. They are here to help your success. Please view us as part of your team. I can say without hesitation, this is the strongest, most creative, driven team I've ever had the pleasure of working with. and that includes when I was helping putting people in space. They are constantly and relentlessly stretching the boundaries, making that line between the possible and the impossible blurry. And you know, at times, for brief moments, they make it disappear entirely. As you can tell, I couldn't be more proud of our team. Just yesterday, I was shown an example of what just the day before was not possible. Is it exciting? You bet. And we are just getting started. So enjoy today's session. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your kind participation. Enjoy the day.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the motivational words and the shout out to our team.